Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2022 Ram TRX. Up front is a 6.2 liter supercharged V8 and down below is an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this here Ram TRX for a bunch of reasons, but mainly the fact that this thing is obnoxious, it's wild, it's crazy, and I love vehicles like that. But before we get on to anything else, I have a website, zackbradle.com, where you can buy stickers and other merchandise when it becomes available. You could also submit your own vehicle to be reviewed by me through a quick and easy submission form, and you get a video of your car just like this one, and you could read my behind-the-scenes blog to see what I'm filming before it comes out on the channel. But let's get back to that 6.2 liter supercharged V8. Well, it is pulled directly from the Challenger and Charger Hellcat, and it makes a whopping 702 horsepower. This is the most powerful gasoline-powered pickup truck to ever exist, and that is awesome. It is grunt-worthy, it is brutal, it is guttural, and I love that about that. Everything about this truck is tough. And I love it. There's a whole ambiance that goes with it, not even just the engine. Which there's not much left to say, but just to hear it yourselves. Yeah, it's good. What's scary is that it makes all of the Hellcat noises. As you heard the supercharger whine, as you heard the V8 thud, you know? But then you get on the brakes and you realize that you're sitting about 3 feet higher than you are in a Hellcat. You have to remember, oh, I'm not a Hellcat. I am an apartment complex that happens to have 4 tires. So that it gets a little bit dicey when you come off the throttle and you have to snap back to reality and remember that you're in a giant pickup truck that won't fit in most parking spots. Kind of interesting, but God, I love that supercharger whine. If I could just plug my headphones directly into the supercharger pulley and just, I would be that scene with Christian Bale from American Psycho. That would be me just with the supercharger whine. I love it so much. So much. Oh. Yeah, I would get in a lot of trouble owning this automobile. A lot of trouble. Like I said, paired to it is an 8-speed automatic transmission. Most of Mopar / Stellantis, FCA, whatever you want to call them, they use 8-speed automatics. This is a torque flight automatic, and it does the job pretty good. I can plus minus with the paddle shifters if I'd like to, if that's something I want to do. And there's plenty of other goodies for the drivetrain we'll talk about later with the settings. Last but not least, the TRX is 4-wheel drive, and we'll talk about how to select that with the interior. Speaking of which, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a digital screen and physical gauges. On the left is my tachometer and coolant temperature. In the center, I do get a digital screen. This is very customizable, and I like all the different colors. I've always liked Mopars and Jeeps and Dodges and Rams, and their screens have always been very good, very thorough, and they don't feel cheap. I don't feel like they just hot glued a knockoff iPad behind the gauges and called it a day. This actually seems pretty well thought out, and I love that about it. Off to the right, I do have my speedometer and my fuel. Up above the gauges, I do have a heads-up display giving me my current speed and speed limit of the road. On the steering wheel, I do have those paddle shifters around the back, but on the left, I have my selectors for that center screen as well as calling options and voice commands. And on the right, I have my cruise control options. Around the back of the steering wheel, you'll also find the volume and skip track buttons. However, they are not visible from where you're sitting, so you have to go by feel. The overall look and feel of the steering wheel is nice. I really like the blacked out Ram logo in the center. I think it adds a certain level of class, and when you're buying a TRX, you deserve something a little special. Off to the left, I have a big climate control vent. Then I have like my headlight switches, gauge dimmer switches, and things like that. And on the door, I have my Harman Kardon speaker, power mirrors, power windows, and power locks. I do want to talk about the rear view mirror for a second because it is a camera. Now, GMs have been doing this for a couple of years, but I've yet to drive a Mopar product with this rear camera, and I absolutely love it. It makes life so much easier, and as we'll talk about later, this truck is so massive that it actually really helps to have a rear camera like that. Moving up into the center, I get another Harman Kardon speaker all the way up on the dash. I also get a nice blacked out Ram logo and a 12-volt outlet that will work no matter if the vehicle is on or off. That's what that battery icon means. If it had a key on it, it would only work when the truck is on, but since it has the battery, it'll work all the time. Then we do have this giant infotainment screen. All right, so let's talk the TRX infotainment, and I'm actually using my phone because my camera can't fit the entire screen in the shot unless it's in the back seat. So I have to use my 0.5 camera on my phone, but plenty of fun things to work with in here. Of course, we do have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. We do also have a front-facing camera, and I can change all these different great camera modes. Surrounding camera, 360 camera, rear camera, right mirror camera, all these different great cameras. Apparently this one's unavailable. That's okay. And then we can go down here to comfort, and this is where I can find my heated seats as well as my ventilated seats and heated steering wheel, which is really nice as well. So I can turn that stuff on. It is a little bit chilly today, so I will be turning that stuff on as well. So down here, then I can go to media. This does have Amazon Alexa, which it does listen to you. All right, stop. Okay, thank you. Which is cool, I guess, kind of gimmicky. But then I can go down here to phone. I can set up all my phone systems, but then I also have vehicle. So I can look at my vehicle cameras again, as well as dim the mirror. We already talked about the camera mirror there. Then I have my apps, which this is where the fun really begins. So I have my race options. We click on it here. And this is for launch control. So I can also set a shift light. I can also do race cooldown. So this is after, if you take this thing to the track and temps are really high, it'll tell you when they drop down to a more healthy number. And like I said, back to launch control. But going back here to apps, then I have the performance pages, which like a Hellcat or anything like that, you can do performance testing and it'll save your best time. It'll save your best 0 to 60. Things like that. We can go down here to gauges, have some nice gauges up in case you do take it to the track. You want to keep an eye on something. Dyno, you can dyno the engine while it's running, so we can give it a little rev here. See, that was, I guess like maybe around just under 300 horsepower right there, which is cool. You could also do G-forces, which I love that they actually changed the design to a pickup truck. Love that. And then, of course, vehicle dynamics, which is really cool. So tons of fun stuff here in the center screen. We also do have the regular climate control buttons over here. I'm not in love with the fact that I can't access the heated seats unless it's through the screen, but not the end of the world, just a little pet peeve of mine. Last but not least, here is what the backup camera looks like, and all those camera options do come back. Very nice. Down below that infotainment screen, we do have trailer settings and auxiliary buttons and parking assist and things like that. Really nice features there. Off to the left of those trailer options and parking options, I do have a couple of different modes. So I have my drive mode settings I can switch here. I have custom, mud/sand, rock, Baja, sport, tow, snow, and auto. So you get so many different drive modes here in the TRX. I really love that customization. And then down below that, we have our push button 4-wheel drive settings for 4 auto, axle lock, 4 high, and 4 low, as well as we do have launch control. So like I mentioned with the infotainment system, this truck does have launch control. According to the owner, it's fine. It's whatever. You can adjust the RPMs that it holds it at to launch it, but it's more gimmicky than anything else. And what would you expect? This whole truck is kind of gimmicky. And then I do have 4 USBs, so 2 USB-Cs, 2 traditional USBs, and an aux. So you get plenty of media options here down below in the TRX, and I love that about it. I also get a wireless charger, which is working fantastically, another great feature of the center console. However, this is kind of a big moment. Now, the Ram TRX is a beefy, manly pickup truck. And so, does it fit my beefy, manly water bottle? So, we will do a big friggin' bottle test here in the Ram TRX. And ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, it fails. The TRX, the macho of the macho, can't hold my water bottle. However, I do have the shifter on the left, and what I love is that this is an actual physical shifter. It's not a turn dial shifter like Dodge and Mopar have been using over the last couple of years. I really, really like it. It's more traditional, and it makes a lot more sense to me. Inside the center console, we have a couple interesting things. So down at the very bottom, you do get this awesome diagram of a TRX next to a T-Rex, which I think is really, really cool. Also on the engine cover, there's a little nod to the Ford Raptor where a T-Rex is eating a Raptor. Kind of cool. But getting back to the center console, I do have an outlet in here as well. On the underside of the lid, I have a really nice conversion table and protractor and things like that. So if you do ever take this to a job site, it could actually be useful in some resort. And very interestingly, they have coin holders. I haven't seen this in a vehicle past 2004, having actual physical coin holders in the vehicle, but the Ram TRX still holds true to the second gen Ram that had the same coin holders. On the lid of the center console, you do get a special TRX badge, which I really, really like. Reminds me a lot of the Harley Davidson badges from the early 2000s Ford F-250s. Gives you like the VIN number and all cool little info right there. Really like that. Then we gotta talk about the seats. The seats are heated, ventilated, and very, very comfortable. They are this nice leather. They have TRX stitched in them. I think that they're really, really fantastic, and I'm very pleasantly enjoying them. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2022 Ram TRX, and I have so much space back here. I could sit, my knees have about a foot before hitting the seat in front of me. My head, when I sit up normally, it's getting a little close to the headliner, but that's okay. I do have some great storage options back here that I will show here, which is very, very nice. Most Rams, TRX or not, have this, but I really, really love this. This seat folds down. I then get a center console with two cup holders, openable storage in here. Very, very nice. Could fold that back up. This rear window opens. Down here, I have heated and ventilated seats, which is fantastic. I also have a 115 volt AC 400 watt outlet. I get two vents. Very, very nice center console, but really back here, I could lay on the floor and probably sleep somewhat comfortably, which is hard to say in any vehicle short of a Rolls Royce. So really, really fantastic back seats back here. But speaking of space, we do have a bed around back, so let's go talk about that. All right, so we're on the back of the TRX. I do have this button on the key fob I can hit twice, and it lowers the tailgate. So nothing too crazy in here, as you can see. Get some tie downs and things like that. I would have liked to have seen an outlet. I'm not seeing one back here. However, this is an aftermarket tonneau cover. It is metal and is really, really nice. Mike, who owns this truck, has a video installing this on his YouTube channel. I would highly recommend checking that out. So nothing too crazy around the back of the TRX, but that's okay. It's still very, very cool. Now we got to talk about the looks, and this is the best looking Ram truck to ever be produced, and I will stand by that, even owning a second gen Ram, which for me is close to my heart and a close second to this truck. This truck looks amazing. It is wider than the standard 1500. It has these vents, it has these muscles. This truck actually has like lats. Like it works out, like it's taking creatine. It's insane. It's like if your Rottweiler was a transformer. And I just overall really, really like the look of this thing. However, there is a downside to the exterior. It's wide. It's very, very wide. It's very big. And you notice it while driving, and you'll see that it has these three little amber lights up at the front. That's not for style, although they do look cool. It's actually legally required here in the US if you're over a certain width. That's why you see semis with the lights on top, the amber lights. Yeah, this has to have the same thing. That is crazy. But speaking of the size, the owner went to a automatic car wash, and the owner of the car wash told him he cannot bring it in because it will most likely damage the vehicle for being too large. So if you get a TRX, don't plan on taking it to an automatic car wash, or at least one not built for semis. It's a good rule of thumb anyway. But now, with all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think finally driving a Ram TRX? Well, there's really only a few downsides. First of all, fuel economy, but if you're buying this and worrying about fuel economy, I don't know what to tell you. It's not good. The owner averages 12 miles to the gallon, driving it nicely. So, Yeah, not crazy. The other downside is the screen. I'm just not a big fan of screens in cars, and I worry about if something were to break, well, then I couldn't access my heated seats or climate controls or things like that. So this big screen inside of here does scare me, but I understand that it's kind of the way of the future. It's what all cars are gonna have one day, blah, blah, blah. Let's talk about the goods because there are, oh, so many of them. First of all, the driving experience. You get to hear a supercharger whine while driving a pickup truck, something I don't believe I have experienced quite yet. You get to have the best looking Ram ever produced. When Wendy's ran their ad campaign of "Where's the beef?" they weren't talking about their hamburgers. They were talking about this truck. And boy, have I found the beef in this thing. And you know what? Am I the key demographic that would buy a vehicle like this? No, but I have to say, I am very, very happy that this truck exists. Because it exists purely because it can. When designing this truck, the folks over at Ram asked the questions, can we? And the answer was yes, but they failed to ask the question, should we? And the answer is probably no, but they did anyway and created one of the coolest trucks I've ever driven. Oh man, this is something else. And you know what? It's a 2022. This is a brand new car. Most times I make these videos, I say, man, this car is crazy, this car is cool, this car is fascinating, but they don't make it anymore. You just don't see this anymore. Well, this truck was delivered about a month ago. It only has just over 2,000 miles on it. It's brand new, still has a factory warranty. This is a new truck, and it is giving me all of those amazing, amazing feelings. It's not often I say this on the channel, but something new has really, truly gotten me excited today, and I'm glad that it was the TRX. Huge thank you to Mike from Jeeps on the Run. Please go check out his YouTube channel. He does have a bunch of content about this truck, as well as other Jeep stuff, of course. They are running a raffle that will end December 4th, 2022. And you can win a Jeep for $20 a ticket, which is fantastic, and I'll leave info for that in the description below as well, or you can find that video on my channel already. Huge thank you to Mike. He's been an incredible, incredible help to the channel. He's a great guy to work with, and we have some fun stuff planned that I'm very, very excited to show you guys. But huge thank you to him for letting me take out the TRX, and huge thank you to you for watching this video of me driving the TRX. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.